Flosstube number 132. Hello everybody, I am Jan of Jan Hicks Creates, and I am thrilled that you are here. I'm thrilled that I am here. It's been a stressful week, as I'm sure you guys can probably imagine. Waiting, as always, sucks. Sucks hard, and we are still waiting. I'm talking about our move. We are down to waiting on the last 2 approvals, at which point Mike will get his official job offer. He just has a conditional one at this point. And then we can start actually making plans. My understanding is Mike will suggest a start date, assuming that the company approves. Then we'll start backing everything up and start scheduling movers and places to stay and all that fun stuff. But yeah, at this point we are still in waiting mode. We were hoping by the end of this week, which, hey, is today. It is Friday, April 30th. We were hoping to know. And the day isn't over yet. But yeah. On top of that, as many of you who follow me in various forums know, we had a major storm come through here Wednesday night. There was a tornado in a little town to the west of us. As far as I know, no tornadoes actually touched down here in San Antonio, but we had a hellacious storm with hail. I put up a video on my personal Facebook page of what it sounds like to be in an RV in a hailstorm. It's a little bit noisy. We tried to watch a movie. We're going through the Harry Potter movies again, and we just couldn't hear it. So, yeah. That wasn't, okay, so it was bad. We got in 12 hours from 8 p.m. Wednesday night to about 8 a.m. Thursday morning, we got about 6¼ inches of rain. So tons, I mean, just crazy amounts of rain. And we also found out, or I realized Thursday mid-morning, that we had a water intrusion. Back behind me is the bedroom, as you may realize. And along this wall, there is kind of a dresser type of thing with drawers underneath and 2 cabinets on either side. And there's a window over the dresser. Well, the seals around the window have definitely shrunk, and we had water come in. And on that dresser, we had some clothes, various and sundry other things that either didn't get wet at all, or it didn't hurt them to get wet. The clothes were absolutely soaked to the point where, like, there's a pair of what we call floppy pants. Mike's just lounging around pants. Just, you could wring out the water and the water would just flow out soaked. Also sitting on that thing right on the bottom was this project bag. And in this project bag was Narnia. Luckily, I had not worked on it in a while. There was not a whole lot done to it, but I now have fabric that looks like this. So I had this folded up like this with the floss sitting on top of it like this in the project bag. And when I say the project bag was soaked through, it was, again, just dripping wet. I don't know how long it had been sitting there in the water, but enough that you can see the thread keeper is nicely stained. And, whoops, and the fabric. As you can see. So the staining is both from the stitching that's on it as well as the floss laying on it. This is Mrs. Sadis's oxide that I'm using for this. I think you can tell that the it's washed out, right? The color is washed out, obviously. To say that I was sick to my stomach and sick at heart most of the day yesterday is an understatement. I don't usually let things like this get to me. Like I said, there wasn't much stitching done on it. My having worked where Mike is working and where I did work, one of our favorite sayings in the midst of anything like this that happens is, no one died. We used to work things that if we didn't do things right, people would die. So we're very aware that this is minor in the scope of things. It didn't stop me from feeling really crappy all day long yesterday, though. And I'm sure it's just a matter of different stressors piling up on me. The fabric is now dry. I've talked to the wonderful Judith of XJU Designs. She has offered to send me more fabric. I mean, what a sweetheart. I'm actually connected with her on Facebook, and she saw the picture and she just said, would you like me to send you more? I'm like, oh my God, you are so wonderful. And she also gave me some tips on like what to do to salvage this piece. I will be cutting out that stitching, of course. Mike thinks I should just leave it as it is and design something really cool to go on it. And I might, because I mean, really, the blending of colors or the bleeding out of colors, I guess, I don't know, is pretty darn cool. Kind of like one of Ben's paintings. I don't know whether every time I look at it, I would think of this tragedy, or every time I look at it, I would think I made lemonade out of lemons. So I don't know. I will let that, you know, sit for a little bit. I don't know. You know, I'm not overly bothered by the fact that the floss bled. I know that her floss is not color fast. I would never, under any normal circumstances, have treated this project this way, right? So I wouldn't have had to worry about it. I do not know, though, if, I mean, I think there's still enough gold color in the floss that I can use that. I think a lot of the blue has come out of this half, but that's okay, because I have a solution for this that I will show you in a bit. So anyways, yeah, that sucked. It even dyed the inside of the bag. This is one of Stitching the High Notes project bags. So, yeah, let me get this out of the way here. If anybody else has any great ideas for what to do with the fabric to salvage it, I'd love to hear it. I'm open to all suggestions at this point. Judith suggested that I soak the fabric and the floss in a glass bowl with warm water, or maybe hot water, I don't remember, and then put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. I don't know whether that was to make it bleed more, to make the color more even across the fabric. I really don't know what that will do, so I would love for any of you that are familiar with dyeing, let me know that as well. We actually don't have any glass bowls here in the RV. We try to avoid glass as much as possible in a moving vehicle. I think the only glass I have is like we have our dishes in the RV are Corelle ware, and we have, you know, like the regular size salad bowls. That's the only glass bowl we have. So this isn't something that I can do until we get back into an apartment and I have access to my glass bowls. So I would love to hear whatever suggestions you might have. All right, so other than that, it has been a fairly quiet week. Last weekend we went up to Burney, which it insults my German background intensely to pronounce it that way, but apparently that is how the natives pronounce it, the locals pronounce it. Burney is a little town just north of San Antonio. I had seen some interesting antiques in some postings an antique store did in the Facebook Marketplace. So we went up there on Saturday and wandered around. Just a really cute little town. Lots of great antique stores and other little shops, some great restaurants. We ate at the Tusculum, maybe how you pronounce it, I'm not sure, brewing company. They had an outdoor kind of, not enclosed, but barn-like outdoor eating area. That is the first time we have eaten out since February of 2020, and it felt fantastic. We've ordered delivery from restaurants a ton of times. I mean, every week basically, but that's the first time we've actually gone out. So I have a couple pictures at the beginning of some of the blooming, just a few little things in Burney. Yeah, that's about all the excitement. Forgive my hair. COVID hair is a real thing. I have a hair appointment for next Friday in Scottsdale when we will be visiting my father-in-law. Can't wait for that. I couldn't get an appointment here in San Antonio. Everything's booked. So, such is life. Yeah, so stitching, knitting, have some finishes to show you. Designing talk. Let's get started. Silks, so many silks, so many silks. All right, so finishes. First and foremost is this sweet little guy. This is called the Aviary. This was actually supposed to be my freebie for StitchCon, for the goodie bag in StitchCon. This was way too big. By that I mean I needed it to be able to fit on a 5.5 by 8.5 sheet of paper. So basically kind of half of a 5.5, because the other half of the 5.5 I would have description, right? Key, all that kind of fun stuff. It fit, but you couldn't actually read the symbols. So I decided this would become a little product, and I made something else for the StitchCon bag. So this is called the Aviary. It is just stitched in DMC. This is a 36 count linen. It is called Old Blue by XJU Design. She comes up a lot, doesn't she? Because I love her fabrics. So yeah, just a fun little thing. And you know, you could even, if you don't like the bright colors, I was channeling the tropics. I was channeling the tropical birds that I've seen not only in zoos, but just flying the skies in places like Florida and Hawaii when I lived there. So I wanted the tropical. I was channeling bougainvillea when I did the flowers. But if you wanted to make it more primitive, more subtle, you could change all the colors and change the background fabric and have something more subtle. So that is called the Aviary. It is in my shop. It is in my Etsy shop. It is at the Fat Quarter shop. And I have sent it to Silk, and it will be up there eventually. Florigraphica is not on Silk yet either. They have sent that off to Apple and are waiting for approval. So, you know, getting it on the Silk app is more of a words are hard process, more of a process than just me sticking it up on shops, right? Or even Fat Quarter shop. Although they have a line too of stuff they're trying to get up, and so it takes a little while. This is Sewn in Friendship by Heartstring Sampler. So this is their collaborative with Plum Street Sampler. I stitched this a while ago, finished it a while ago, sent it to the recipient finally, and have been forgetting to show it to you. Oh, hold on a second. I need a bigger table. Just one more reason why I can't wait to get into an apartment. All right, so I stitched this for my friend Maria. Maria has made me multiple project bags, sent me all kinds of goodies. She's just a lovely friend and a lovely support person when I need to talk through something. And so I wanted to send her something special. So this is what I made for her. This is, again, 36 count linen by XJU Design. This is gray sand. I believe this is a piece of the same fabric that Narnia is on. Some of the called for colors, some not. And this is just such a sweet little stitch. I finished it myself. It is, the edging is the chenille, Lady Dot Creates chenille, and I felt one, I think it's a thinner one, so I felt one strand of it, if you will, wasn't thick enough, so I had enough that I could twist the length together to create like 2 strands and a twisted edge. It was a beast to sew on. I don't think I did a very good job with it, but it's done. Maria loved it. I think it's super pretty, the stitching at least. It's one of the finishing projects that made me realize how much I hate finishing. So, yeah. All right, I had great hopes in getting a lot more done on Bayonne Cat by Al Forest Embroidery. Life and time did not allow that, but I did get a chunk of that bottom border done. It's almost, the gold zigzag border is almost done. I just have to take that out a little bit further, and then I'll come back and finish the trees and finish the mice. Now let's talk about those mice. I did one night after I had done the orange, the yellow border, gold border, whatever you call it, over here. So I had stitched that mouse. I stitched it in the black. I was like, well, frack that. And I put it away. It was probably bedtime anyways. The next night, I hadn't taken the black out of my needle. I am apparently brain dead by that time in the evening. It's only like 8 o'clock, but my brain had stopped working, and I happily stitched the second mouse in black. Yes, there were some swear words. I told Mike, and he's like, well, why don't you just leave it in the black? Because this is a kit, and I might run out of floss, the black floss. They're supposed to be blue. So, 3rd time's a charm, but I was getting rather frustrated, so this did not get as much love this week as I would have liked. I have decided I am going to keep plugging away on this one in my spare moments in the evening until I get it done. Hoity-toity has taken a back seat for now, because this one is closer to being done, so I know I can get it done. It seems to be getting grayer here, so I hope the lighting's okay. It's supposed to rain still all weekend. It's been raining ever since Wednesday and when those big storms came through, so it is what it is. So, I hate Velcro. Just got something else caught on Velcro. I did not, I did finish up that, I guess I did work on this since my video last Monday. So, the Monday video on my silk gauze piece, and let me tell you, I am thrilled. Let's see, Deb Fenning and Ann Perry, right? You both got out your silk gauze pieces from Maureen Appleton, the Heart's Content, and have been working on those. I did get my little vase over here finished. I had hoped to start the second one this week, but again, other things were drawing my attention. So that is done. I don't know whether I'll work directly on the next time I pick it up, start on the other vase, or I might start on the flower up at the top just for something different. But I am thrilled with basically how easily this came back to me. Now, I am not working on it. I do find that my eyes tire more quickly on this than, you know, regular fabric. So I would say by an hour, 2 hours at the most, I'm ready to put this aside. Now, I did want to show you, I still have it in my just cross stitch binder, but that big piece of whatever this is supposed to be that had all the Velcro, I cut quite a bit of it off, and I am storing my floss, and I kind of am ginger with this because I don't want it to go flying. I'm storing my floss rolled up in here. I have a couple plastic bags on top because that flap of felt that comes down, if I don't have something to protect it, the silk is just going to stick to that, and everything gets all floppy and messed up, and it's not nicely stored anymore. But anyways, this was my solution. I took all the silk off of those lengths and, you know, connected to the Velcro like it was, rolled it up. It still has the numbered tags that came with it, and I'm finding that to be a great solution for keeping the flosses, the silks, for this project. So again, I have no goals for this. I hope to get it out maybe just once a week at this point, maybe just on Sundays, I don't know, and put a few stitches in here and there, and it'll get finished when it gets finished. But I am thrilled to be working on my oldest whip again. As I was stitching up Florigraphica, my poor Prim Stitch series got sorely neglected. So I should be, if I were on time, this square here should be about done. That is 10, right? That's the one with the big cat on it. Instead, I got 9 finished up. So that's this one over here. Don't have the border completely done yet, but I did get the square and got started on 10 with the sunflower. So 11 will come out on the 5th. So I may be taking this off the frame to work on it in hand and take it with me to Phoenix, so that I don't get further behind. I want to keep working on that. So that's where I am on that. Knitting. I have been knitting pretty much every day. So this is the Nights Who Say Knit. I am not caught up. If you remember, this is a mystery knit along. The second clue came out on Monday, and I am just now finishing up, well, I still have a little ways to go, the first clue. So I love this. This part is called the shrubbery. I'm starting to work on the shrubberies. This is the next to last section. There's another little, see these little baubles here? There's another little section, I think just one row of that after this. I think I'm about halfway done with the lace section, and then I'll be ready to start on clue 2. But I am thrilled with just the fact that I'm knitting pretty much every day. Really, really enjoying this. It is Miss Bab's yarn, fingering yarn. I'm on a size 5 needle, interchangeable. So, yeah. And for the most part, this is pretty mindless knitting for me. So, it just feels so good to have a flow again with yarn through my fingers. I miss that. All right, so there is that. All right, so finished designing Seasons in Lace Spring, started stitching, had several false starts with the stitching that I had to rip out. I didn't like the color combo that I had chosen for this middle section here. This is a band going across here with these flowers on it. I had originally had the flower center and this part of the berries, the light part of the berries, in a very pale pink. And I will show you the floss in a second. And it just didn't work. So then I changed it to a different color and that didn't work. And I made the leaves the pale pink and that didn't work. So stitch, take it out, stitch, take it out, stitch, take it out. I finally like this combination. Yeah, so Seasons in Lace Spring. The floss. Now, I did get permission from Fat Quarter Shop to show this. I was worried because this is their May color pack, and I didn't want to jump the gun and show it to you if they didn't want me to. But as I'm talking, I will get it straightened out so you can actually see it. But I did ask their permission, and they are fine with this little sneak peek. So, again, this is their Silk Floss of the Month Club called Fine Floss. I hope you guys are all members now, because this is what I will be continuing to use for the rest of the season. So, like I said, this is the May pack. It is their, I don't know what the color range is. It's a rusty pink or rusty reds. I'm sure it has a name, but I don't know it. NPI Silks. So that is the colors for this one. And this is that pale pink that I was talking about. The fabric is a 36 count. It's kind of a apricot-y pink with browns in it by Under the Sea Fabric. I had a heck of a time choosing what color fabric. I was pretty sure I wanted a pink, and I have a very pale pink fabric that I believe is, it's either Under the Sea or Color and Cotton that I got from StitchCon in 2019. But it was too bubblegum pink. And so then I pulled out some browns. And the flosses look fantastic on browns, but it didn't give that spring feel. I wanted this to have a spring feel. That is my Seasons in Lace Spring part. You will be seeing more of this, of course, over the course of the next few weeks. I will say that I wanted to let you know that this won't come out until the end of May. I have plenty of time to get it stitched, so I don't feel any stress stitching this, which is wonderful. It will not come out until the end of May because that is when the floss pack comes out, since it is the May pack and they don't send them out until the end of the month. So look for that then. And then summer will come out May, June, July, August. Will come out at the end of August. That is using the March floss pack, which is the greens for those of you who got that. And then the fall pack, the fall Seasons in Lace, will come out at the end of November, and it will be using November's pack. So that is all my stitching this week. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I have any secret stitching. Serendipity, but I showed you up to date with Serendipity. Okay, I'm going to move my current projects out of the way now to make room for all the other insanity. Teal, my bananas are turning yellow. We've eaten one already. One turned yellow. The other ones are kind of slackers. Okay. Tips and tricks I think I'm ready to go to tips and tricks. Yeah, because other than that, I just have haul and the giveaway. Tips and tricks today. I'm not doing a store shopping thing today. I had one planned, but I didn't record it. Maybe I'll record it after. If you see a shopping trip on here, that's because I recorded it after. If you don't, it's because I went, next time, which is probably what's going to happen. Tips and tricks. I showed you the laying tool from Maureen Appleton, whatever, last video, the video before, and I had several of you ask, what is that and how do you use it? So we're going to take a break, go to my overhead camera, and I will show you how to use a laying tool and one other tip and trick. So enjoy. So I had showed this laying tool on my video last week, or the week, or I shouldn't say last week, I'm not doing them weekly, right? The last video or the one before, I don't remember which one. This is the pink diamond wood laying tool that I got from Maureen Appleton. Her husband made them. And after that video, I had several of you ask, well, what is a laying tool? What do you do with a laying tool? So this is what this demonstration shows. A laying tool helps you lay your stitches onto your fabric. It is most often used for specialty stitches with multiple strands, of course. And it's basically used to manipulate the fibers to get them to lay nicely. I am doing this with a couple strands of Mrs. Sadis silk in aqua. And just on, you can see this is my Prim Stitch series piece. I don't really have a good piece that I'm currently working on to show you this, so I just decided to do this on this fabric because it was handy. Yeah, just to give you an idea. So the idea is that you have your strands of floss. And like I said, this is most often used when you're doing specialty stitches. I am working a satin stitch here. And this fabric may or may not be the best count. It's a 25 count Lugana for 2 strands for satin stitch, but it gives you the idea. So you're basically rubbing the laying tool along the floss to get it to lay side by side. And then I keep it laying on there as I pull it down through the hole, and just kind of keep going back and forth just to make sure that it is laying side by side before I pull it through. And you can see that creates that really nice padded look, smooth side by side look in the floss that you want for a satin stitch. So that's really all that there is to it. It's just to help you lay your stitches nicely. There probably are some people that use this for cross stitch. It's perfectly, a perfectly good use for it. I have various laying tools, from a very utilitarian one that kind of has a metal, I don't know what you call it, and I forget the proper name for this laying tool, but it just has a metal thing that you slide onto your finger, and it has this kind of thing poking out of it, so you can do this while you're stitching. This is by far my fanciest laying tool. It's a little bit pointier than I might like, but it is a beautiful, beautiful tool. And certainly does the job beautifully. So there, that's what a laying tool does. Now I did want to, while I'm here, talk a little bit about another little tip on starting your thread with the loop start. There are quite a few videos out there now showing you how to do a loop start with a single strand. Everybody knows one of the most common methods for, excuse me, one of the most common methods for starting a strand of floss, or starting with 2 strands, is the loop method, and I know it's what a lot of people prefer. And so somebody out there in cross stitch world came up with a way to do it with a single strand of floss. And I started doing it with a single strand of floss, the loop method, but I found that I was kind of doing an improvised method, in that I still was leaving this kind of little tail. You see that tail there? And so I would leave the tail, come over and do the loop start with 1 strand, and then make sure I covered the tail, and to be sure that I wouldn't have to worry about the loop, the single strand loop method coming out. And I thought, you know, Jan, that's really stupid, because it's just, you don't need the loop if you're doing it the way I do it. It's kind of like an extra unnecessary and bit of a hassle step. So I'm just going to show you what I mean, what I do. I don't, you know, this is kind of a takeoff, if you have heard of the, now I'm going to get all caught up in this other floss I have here. This is kind of a takeoff on the away waist knot that is often used in canvas work and needlepoint. So I am just putting my needle down through the fabric. I don't have a knot. I don't need a knot. And I put it down, so say I need to do a row of stitches here. I will put it down a little bit further away from where I'm going to be doing those stitches. And I will come over then to where I'm going to be doing the stitches. So let's say I come up here, okay? I'm going to make sure I'm in the same row. So my thread is draped along the back of the fabric along here, right? So basically all I'm doing is stitching over it. Now I'm just doing over 1, of course, because that's what I do on this fabric, so that's what I'm used to. I don't do of course I'm not doing this piece in hand anyway. It is on my scroll frame, so I'm not doing the sewing method. So I just make sure for these first few stitches, maybe about 5, that, you know, I can feel where the fabric is there on the back. I kind of scroll my needle down, and on the back I'm like pushing the thread out of the way so I can be sure that the needle's coming down underneath it. Then when I come back up again, I scroll down so I make sure I'm coming up above the thread, and so that ensures that on the back I am catching that thread with all of these stitches. So I don't have to do any fancy loop start. I don't have to worry about not having any stitches to trail the thread under. Whoops, I went over 2 on that one. Oh well. You get the idea. You know, it's just automatically catching. Now, if you only had 1 or 2 stitches away from your other stitching, and so that's what I would do, come back, going to ignore that one is over 2, and so I'm assured that it is caught in the back now. I don't have to do anything fancy on the return trip, because I know those stitches are, that thread is already caught. Hopefully I didn't catch that other thread in there to make a mess when I show you. If I just have a stitch or 2 to do far away from my other stitching though, if I don't have anything to catch it on, then I probably would still do the loop start But I would still also do this and try to catch that thread underneath whatever stitches I am doing. So let me turn this over. Oops, I did have a little blooper in there. I thought I felt something strange, just, you know, from the, there it is. You know, how you get those little loops that you have to pull out, and I didn't feel that. But anyway, you can see that my thread, my starting thread, is caught in those stitches. So I didn't have to do a loop start. I didn't have to do anything fancy. And then I would just cut off that extra and continue on my merry way. So that's my version of starting with a single thread. Even with a double thread, if I'm using 2 strands, especially if I'm using 2 strands of a variegated, and I don't want to do a loop start because I want to keep the variegation consistent. I want the 2 strands to, you know, they have color on them. I want to keep them in the same place. I hope that makes sense. I very, very rarely do a loop start. I pretty much always do it this way, where I have the tail hanging off. I make sure I go over it when I'm starting my stitching, if I don't have any stitches to trail it under. In general, I'm always trailing under other stitches though. I guess I don't have enough of a problem with it to feel I need to do the loop start. So I hope you found that helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully you could see that well enough. You're not missing anything here. I'm just taking out these stitches so that I can go on my merry way with my Prim stitch pieces. Alrighty, back to the rest of the video. We'll start with the regular haul and then go to the vintage haul. So I make noise here. Missing something. There it is. Okay. So I just don't know where to start. As always, lots of silk. Fat Quarters Fine Floss of the month for April is these creams. So basically what you're getting for the Fine Floss Club is the NPI silks in their color ranges. And so it's not like it's meant to be for anything special. It's just that it's the color range so that you can build up your stash and have, after the whole 12 months are over, you have like all the color ranges, or a lot of the color ranges, and certainly all the basic ones that they carry. So April, they made creams. And those are really pretty. Just all the different creams. Now, I had mentioned to you, I'd shown you, I think last week, the silk flosses from Vicki Clayton for the With Thy Needle and Thread Carolyn Amelia trowel. And I said, I need to get the pattern. I haven't yet, but I will. And I did. So, I have the pattern, and I have the Vicki Clayton silk conversion, and it is gorgeous. So those will get stored together. I don't know when I'll start that. Also, Vicki Clayton, I reached out to her asking if she would be interested in doing a silk conversion for Florigraphica. And she said, you know, I had been thinking about asking you, and then I didn't. I should have. And I said, that's okay. Great minds think alike. We got there eventually. So she created a conversion for Florigraphica. I'm not going to open it. This is going to be a giveaway for Mother's Day. So not quite yet, but I mean, because this is a big one, right? This is a special one. The silks and the pattern, but this will be a few weeks down the road, and I will probably advertise that a bit more. This is one of the market release ones that I've been wanting to get. This is Jeanette Douglas, Let's Do What We Love. I think I'm going to make this a start, my StitchCon start. I know, no new starts, but I'm allowing myself a StitchCon start. This isn't a lot of stitching. It will go fairly fast when I actually get to it. I will be lucky if I even get the flower done at StitchCon. This flower here, that. I'm going to convert this to probably Vicky Silks. So I'm looking forward to doing that, which means it'll be on either probably 40 count, maybe 46 count linen. So I am looking forward to starting that. The sample is done on 40 count Dusty Road by Seraphim. And I have a 46 count Antique White by Seraphim, so I might use that with Vicky Silks. But I'm giving myself a StitchCon start. StitchCon, I am in weekend A. Mike has decided he can't go. Well, we kind of knew that because, you know, this new job thing. So I will be rooming with Joanne again, the same gal that I roomed with in 2019, and I'm so looking forward to that, to seeing her, to seeing, I mean, it's basically going to be the same table plus Maria. Can't wait. Unfortunately, Carolyn Zook can't go. She's trying to buy a house. For those of you that watch her Flosstube channel, you know all this. See Zook Stitch, and it's the market is really, really competitive where she lives right now. So she decided she needs to stay concentrating on that. Although, Carolyn, I think you should give yourself a break and come to StitchCon. I know, you've probably already canceled. Next goodie that I got, Cross Stitch for the Earth, Emma Congdon. She has another one out called Cross Stitch for the Soul that has a lot of the cross stitch quilt, or cross stitch quotes that are kind of like more inspirational, right? This one is for the earth, and fantastic. I love this. Take care of the earth, and it will take care of you. This one, someday. This one's called The Great Outdoors. All about being out, exploring, camping. I love that. Oops, almost sent one of my other little treasures falling. Let's see. Recycling. All the do's if you want to take care of the earth. So many. Unplug. Go outside. I mean, pretty much every single one of these I want to do. So, that. I have still continued my foray into stash unloading and got a couple very interesting things. This is a Scarlet Letter, 1839 Margaret Gibson. Again, you know I'm not big on samplers, but I do like ones that are unusual. Different stitches. I love these kind of mounds of stitching here. These flowers up here are gorgeous. So I got that one. And then this one I've never seen before. Elizabeth Minnick's Decorated Towel from Carriage House Samplings. I don't know whether there's a copyright date that I can easily find. Not that I can see, but... So this isn't... I hate to say, this isn't something I will necessarily stitch as a decorated towel. I may stitch bits and pieces of it, but the reason I thought it was interesting is I want to know how she finished it with the fringe up here. I find that very interesting, and I have a couple of designs in my brain that would work well for. So the main reason I got it was for the finishing instructions. Am I the only one that does that? Quite possibly. All right. And then we have my darling Mrs. Sadis. Now, I had mentioned to you when I showed you my poor washed out piece that I had a solution for the blues kind of fading. And that is Mrs. Sadis. Let me get my little board. So this is Mrs. Sadis's Midnight colorway. She made this as a complement to Oxide. Oxide has more of the yellow and orange, and this has more of the blue, and it almost is, it's deepening to violet. Can you see that? Yeah, gorgeous. So my intent anyways was to get this, because the skein of Oxide that I have as it was, it didn't have enough blue to begin with to give me the sharper contrast that I wanted between what I charted as gold in Narnia and what I charted as navy blue in Narnia. And so I knew that this would take care of that problem. And of course it takes care of it even better now, since my poor Narnia skein, my other Oxide skein, is just so sad. So I may totally replace this. I'm sure there's plenty in here for Narnia completely. So Raquel, being the generous soul that she is, you know, she credits me, rightly or wrongly, I'm not going to complain, with really helping to build her business. And I'm thrilled to have done that. I love her product. I love her colors. It smells so good. I got these. I'm like, here, Mike, smell this. Doesn't this smell wonderful? He's like, yeah, that smells pretty. He always tries to show interest. What does she do to make it smell so pretty? Anyways, she always sends me thank yous for helping her out so much. And she always goes overboard. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 other bags of silks here. I think she sent me, again, her entire line. And I asked her, now you have these all in all these separate bags. I don't think I have that one. That looks like a deep green that I don't have. I asked her if they were separated for any reason, and she said, no, it's just, I just shoved things in bags. It's just, you know, whatever would fit in a bag. Whoops, there goes that. Silks galore, falling all over the place. These actually look like the colors, some of the colors for the Pandemic sampler. And more silks. Oh, that's one of my very favorite. I have a feeling she has different colors, or at least they're dyeing different now than what I have. See that pink there? Whoops, where is it there? That pink, and actually both of those. The subtle changes in those, oh, it's so pretty. I love that. But wait, there's more. Goodness gracious. I mean, just. So I have a feeling some of these will be giveaways at some point, but I'm not quite. I have to see what I do have, what I don't have. What I need, what I can't live without, all of that. I am designing a samplerish type of thing that I'm going to be charting in her colors, so I need to get that all sorted out. But yeah, thank you, Raquel. Oh my God, you're too good to me. And I am thrilled to be too good to you, because I love your stuff, and I think everybody should have some Mrs. Sadis silk. Okay, my antique store finds. So, like I said, I found this gal. It's called Shades of Yesterday. It is in a building in Bernie called the Cartel Group or something like that. It's a corner building. It was an old office building, which is how all these stores are. I mean, it just It's just a cute little town. But it is now the home of like a consignment antique setup. So, you know, everybody there's all kinds of different vendors there, and they have their own style of what they sell. Shades of Yesterday I found on Facebook Marketplace. She had some pictures there, and some of the things stood out to me, and I had to go and visit. So this is one of the things. 3 spools with yarn, and it's a lace weight yarn, definitely wool, wound on them. So this is what, after somebody has spun their yarn, what they would put them on. So those 3, and the prices, I mean, these were $7. 3 other bobbins, these were $4. So the prices were really, really reasonable. I am starting to think about how I'm going to create my backdrop for when I'm in the apartment for my videos. Take the safety pin out of this. This set, this is a vintage, I guess, napkin set, table runner, pretty decorative something or other, $13. I'm fighting with a little safety pin. Look at that. How awesome is that? I will be charting this at some point. Isn't that so cool? And I will be charting this in Mrs. Sadis silks, because her colors would just be perfect for this. So that, and it has 2 other little pieces here that, you know, are basically just mimicking the flower thing. Okay, the last thing, I am going to be inserting a video here because it was too big. It's a fireplace screen, and it is not cross stitch. It's more of a woven type thing. It very well may have been mass produced. I don't know. I want those of you who are more knowledgeable about these things to give me a clue. So I'm going to insert the video here. Okay, so tell me what you think. I'm thinking that I can, if not necessarily reproduce it, but yeah, kind of sort of reproduce it. I don't know what the copyright laws are, though, with something like this. I don't have a date for it. I don't know how old it is. I looked online. I did searches. I found somebody selling the exact same one on eBay for $150. That is like 5 times what I spent for it. So thrilled with that. I don't think it's worth $150. Like I said, I think it's it may very well be mass produced. But if anybody out there knows, let me know if that's something that I can reproduce or not. Or like I said, not necessarily even reproduce, but get inspiration from for some kind of pattern. All right, so that is all of my goodies for today. Now we are going to move on to giveaways. Okay, first, before we get into giveaways, I want to ask if anybody knows of, is familiar with, has access to these designs. These are called the Dictionary series. by, was it Cherrywood Design Studio. So that is what words, you know, hands-on design. Kathy, you know, she used to be part of. I have a follower who is looking for any of these. They are totally out of print. They are not available anywhere. So if you have them and would be interested in sending them on, I don't know whether she's interested in buying them. She may be. Let me know and I can hook you guys up, okay? That is called the Dictionary Series by Cherrywood Designs. So, all right, giveaways. Last week, not last week, the week before last, last video, I've got to get used to saying that. Last video, I had all kinds of different things. First, we have all the different sets for the Earth Laughs. So if you remember, that is my design here. It is available silk, my Etsy shop, my website, Fat Quarter Shop, and the Cosmo Floss Pack is available on Fat Quarter Shop. And I've had several of you ask me this question, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you where I get the most money from. Basically, if you purchase it, how is it benefiting me the most? So, of course, my website is the #1 place, right? And then I would say Etsy, and then Silk, and then Fat Quarter Shop. Now, of course, if you buy it from Etsy, from my website, from Fat Quarter Shop, you will get the PDF, and you can work on it in the Android app Pattern Keeper. If you buy it through Silk, you will be able to work on it through the Silk app. It's an iOS app. So, quite frankly, it doesn't matter to me where you buy it. If you, wherever you are most comfortable, whatever works the best for you. If you're on Fat Quarter Shop buying other things and you see that and want to pop it in your cart, go for it. And they have the floss too, so you know it makes sense to buy them together. But I do appreciate you guys asking, because that, you know, that means a lot to me, that you consider that. But really, whatever works best for you. I am glad to be able to offer it in all the different places, and yeah, it's all good. All right, so the Earth Laughs. First, we have the 2 floss. So I will be sending my pattern to everybody who wins any of these. But the first one is the floss and the Fiber on a Whim Ada, which is parchment. This is 14 count Ada. This goes to Kathy Harris, and her favorite flowers are daffodils. Oh, and I wanted to tell you guys, I loved hearing about your favorite flowers. It was kind of along the same lines of all of our Christmas reminiscing. A lot of times, in fact, the large majority of the time, our favorite flowers are tied in with memories, and usually memories of a mother, a grandmother, a grandfather. One of you has geraniums growing in your backyard that used to grow in your grandmother's yard. That's awesome. I love that. My favorite flower by far is the iris, because it was my mother's favorite flower. But I also love peonies, because peonies and lilacs, because my grandmother, along the side of her, the road next to her house, she had a huge, I mean, I'm sure it was an old lilac bush, and then peonies on either side. The smell in the spring was just amazing. So I made sure in my yard in Maryland I had peonies and lilacs, because nothing beats those. And I had all kinds of different irises. I had so many flowers. But I loved hearing all of your memories and all your different flowers. So Kathy's Kathy wins this. Kathy's favorite flowers are daffodils. The next pack, this is going to Deanna Lenkner. So again, floss, fabric, and pattern, Deanna Lenkner. Her favorite flower is the Naked Lady. Now I have to admit, I know a lot of flowers. I'm a gardener at heart. I don't know what the Naked Lady is. I haven't looked it up either. I'll have to do that. Okay, so then we have 3 of the floss packs without the fabric, but with the pattern. So this one is going to CTC Crafter. Her favorite flowers are sunflowers. The next one is going to Owl and Gator Stitcher. Her favorite flower is the calla lily, which is a gorgeous flower. And last but not least, Diana Smith wins this one, and her favorite flowers are hydrangeas. Now, for all of you, you're going to email me. Again, I'm going to remember, that's the hardest part, to comment on your comment with my email address. You are going to email me your mailing address and let me know if that email address that you're mailing from is the one you want me to send your pattern to, because I will send you the pattern as a PDF. So, to that email address. So that is that. By the way, I am behind on mailing out these things. So for the last couple of videos, I haven't gotten anything mailed out. So I will be getting caught up here in the next few days. Okay, and then we have the flea market flower set. And this goes, so this is the pattern, the floss, and the fabric. And of course, this is all from the generosity of the Fat Quarter Shop. This goes to Deborah Schultz, and Deborah says about flea markets, I love to look at smaller items. Postcards are some of my faves. Vintage postcards, vintage kitchen utensils. A lot of you love going. A lot of you have missed going and can't wait till we go again. I tell you what, there was definitely, I mean, we still wore our masks when we were wandering around in the stores in Bernie this last weekend. But outside, we didn't worry about it as much. Both Mike and I are now fully vaccinated, and it felt so good. I mean, there's definitely a sense of freedom there that just feels so good. All right, this week's giveaways. I'm giving away this one. So the chart that of the stitch that I made for Maria. And this one, let's see. If you win this, who would you stitch it for? I need you to say friend in the comment. So if you win this, sewn in friendship, who would you stitch it for? And respond with this word, I will stitch it for my friend. If you're stitching it for a parent, figure out how to put the word friend in there. Okay, the other set, and I know I'm a little bit behind on this, is again Fat Quarter Shop's Sail Away set. So this is their mystery stitch along for Stitch Mania. So it includes the project bag, the floss, the fabric, the floss biddies, and a needle minder. What? I know, it's a huge amount. So all of that is part of the Sail Away set. I know this isn't going to make it to you for the start of Sail Away. My apologies for that, but I will get this out in the mail. I might get it out today, although I haven't done any stitching yet today. I start to get antsy when I don't get any stitching done. I did get some knitting done this morning though. For this one, let's see. Tell me if you've ever been on a cruise, or you want to go on a cruise, or you have no interest in going on a cruise. Make some comment about cruise with the word cruise, just singular, cruise, in your comment. All right, I think that is all. it feels like all, except for last but not least, the angel card. And yes, pretty much all of, well, most of you didn't say, but the ones that did say, yes, please continue. So yes, we are continuing. Back around the circle we go with another 52 cards. And we're starting off perfectly with a quote from Mother Teresa: "Spread love everywhere you go." And on the back it says, "Live with courage and share your light with others." And this got me thinking, live with courage. What does that mean? What does that mean in today's world? I don't know that I do live with courage, but I'm trying. I try to stand up for others. I don't like to say try either. Do or do not. There is no try, right? Channeling my inner Yoda. Live with courage and share your light with others. I think we can all strive to meet that goal in one way or another. On a total segue, I was looking at Teresa Kogut's Etsy shop the other day, and she has a lot of prints for her angels, and I think I will be purchasing, it's going to be hard to make a decision, but I will be purchasing one of those to put up in my new craft room. I can't wait. Oh my God, I can't wait. All right, guys, that is all for me today. I hope you have a lovely weekend. I will not be back unless I do some kind of little stitch with me with some kind of little update early in the week. I won't be back next week with a Flosstube. Thursday we do head to, like I said, to Phoenix. Thursday to Sunday we're there. Hopefully when we come back, we will be getting hot and heavy into moving. So I'm not going to make any promises for when I'm going to come, when I'll be back here before you. I'll be back for to work out the giveaway, definitely. I don't know. I mean, I'm not making any plans. Seasons in Lace, like I said, that won't release until the end of May. I do have another design that I mentioned that I'm going to do with Mrs. Sadis Silks, pretty much completely designed. I plan on taking that with me. I hope to have it to the point where I can start stitching it and take that with me to Phoenix as well. So kind of figuring out what I'm taking with me, as well as Seasons of Lace. So yeah, lots going on, lots of stitching. I will keep you as updated as I can. But in the meantime, have a lovely weekend. Everybody stay safe. Please get your vaccines. There is a feeling of freedom that I did expect, and it is real, knowing that I'm fully vaccinated. I can get on the plane without worrying. We'll still be wearing our masks. Can see my father-in-law without worrying. Just such a sense of freedom. So please, if you're hesitating, don't hesitate. There's no reason to hesitate. Get your vaccine. It will make us all feel that freedom and get back to normal that much quicker. All right, guys, I am out. Take care of yourselves. I will talk to you soon. Love you guys. Bye-bye.